After week 3, some of you may be falling behind in your fantasy football leagues, but luckily it's not too late to salvage the season. We dug through our fantasy football mailbag and picked out some of your burning questions. First up, Chad says he has running back Jonathan Stewart, who has thus far been a disappointment. So Nick, should he hold on to hope or hit the waiver wire for a new running back?
I would give it one more week. Stewart has received the bulk of the carries in the Carolina backfield. It doesn't help that Cam Newton also is a pretty good rusher in the red zone and has a few rushing touchdowns near the goal line as well. Stewart does have a favorable matchup this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Is giving up the 3rd most rush yards.
All right, well, next up, Brian wants to know Carlos Hyde or Giovanni Bernard?
This is a tough one, but I'd give a slight edge to Carlos Hyde. He's a tremendous running back, tons of talent, and he doesn't have anybody battling him for the #1 job in the 49ers backfield, whereas Gio Bernard has to share carries with Jeremy Hill, who's a pretty good back in his own right. Bernard has averaged only 13.6 carries per game this season, and I don't think that's enough to make him fantasy relevant on a consistent basis.
All right, well, next up, Steven wants to know, will CJ Anderson ever regain his mojo?
If he's wondering if CJ Anderson is going to be as productive for the rest of this season as he was toward the end of last season when he was probably the best running back for fantasy football owners, I would say no. The bread and butter for the Broncos this season, at least offensively, has been passing the ball with Peyton Manning, targeting Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Even though Gary Kubiak is a run-first coach, I think he'll probably go to the pass more.
All right, thanks, Nick. If you have some answers that you need or want to be featured next week, make sure to send in your questions to our Facebook page or on Twitter @Nesson.